Hi guys, these are things that I learned as a student about laser cutting and engraving. I tried looking online everywhere for some advice, tips, things like that, and I just couldn't find very much apart from the websites and companies that actually offer the services. So these are things that I learned about laser cutting on fabric and just a little bit of advice for anyone that wants to perhaps go down the path of doing this technique on fabric. So I will talk about the files in just a second, but as you can see, these are the different samples that I have got done. So this one is neoprene and it's just got loads and loads of lines on it. The one thing I had to make sure was that the lines weren't too close together, although on the computer screen they can look like they're further apart. You want to make sure that they are even further apart because sometimes the heat of the laser can actually make the shapes converge into two. This is another one. This one is done onto satin, and again the shapes are a lot further apart, so therefore I don't know, I kind of like this one because it's not too intricate. So the program that I use is Adobe Illustrator, and this is what I use for flat drawings and just shapes in general, making them into swatches and patterns and then putting them into Photoshop. But this is actually the website that majority of laser companies want you to use, and it's very simple. All you have to do is just make shapes, and this is the way that I did it because they want a solid path. They don't want any layers or anything like that because that will mess up the laser cutting itself. So I just drew lots and lots of shapes, and that was the easiest way I could do it. If you would like a tutorial on that, just let me know in the comment section below. I'd happily do one, but this is on the satin fabric. And then I also got one done on a slightly more embellished sequin fabric, and this is something I didn't think was going to work, and it totally worked, and it was really, really surprising and definitely one of my favorites. This is engraving, so again, similar, you would draw out these shapes on Illustrator, and I save them as a PDF file, although I know that some want AI files, which are just the raw Illustrator files. But laser engraving can pretty much, that can engrave anything, literally anything, but with cutting you just have to be a bit more specific to make sure that nothing really kind of goes into, one shape into the other, and that the heat is not too much that it actually burns through shapes. So as you can tell from this particular file, I just moved the top layer off, and you can see that it is completely white underneath, or grey should I say. That's because there are no more than one layers, and there only can be one layer. Sorry if this is getting confusing, this is the only way I can explain it. So this is the fabric from that particular file, and on chiffon. So that is this one right here, and I will show you a flat version of it on the table so you can see that it does look quite close on the fabric, but on the file it probably looks a bit more further apart. And then there's this one as well, which has just got the shapes in the middle, rather than having the black solid lines which I have in some of my other files. And this one does go off the page slightly, but obviously when you save it it's just going to be the A4. The other important thing to note is that each of the samples has to be exactly the same size as the bit of fabric that you get laser cut, so the file and the fabric have to be the same size. So as you can see, this is A4. My sample was slightly bigger, but it only printed laser engraved A4. So I did get that file, engraved and laser cut. This is already confusing me so much, but yeah, it was definitely a learning process, this whole thing. So these are the ones that worked out really, really well, and then onto the one that did not work out so well. So as you can see, this one has like little white gaps in between, and this one did not work out very well because it was too fine. Not only were the black lines would be the ones that would actually be the gold, as you can see, so the gold is the black lines, and they are too fine, way, way, way too fine, and it just didn't work. So definitely keeping that in mind when doing the design, but it was my first time laser cutting and I had really no idea what I was doing. So these are just a few of the things that I did learn, especially knowing that the laser is a certain width, so not trying to do anything too intricate and too tiny, even though things that you see on Google, designers have done really intricate work. but you know, just keeping it very simple to see which fabrics work with which kind of designs that I did. So fabrics I think are quite important, but I have shown you lots of different fabrics that I used, and hopefully that will give you an idea. So if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope you found it useful. If you have any comments or questions, let me know in the comment section below. And yeah, I will see you guys very soon. Bye!